You're watching Denpubs TV.
Is this mic live?
Yes.
I'm Sandy Lewis, and I have not spoken here before. In anticipating this day, I called Executive Chambers Tom Congdon at the suggestion of Senator Little. And this morning, for those of you who were here beforehand, I sort of made the circle and introduced myself. I am Paul Van Cott's sociopath. I'm the guy, the only guy in the history of Wall Street who's received a presidential pardon from a president I met but once to discuss his personal life. He didn't enjoy the experience. Mr. Congdon asked me to speak today as a peacemaker representing Governor Cuomo. He did not limit me to 5 minutes, and if I'm going to be limited to 5 minutes, I'll leave now. Folks, it's been a pleasure. On the way out, let me just say the following. I've been asked to name 5 new board members for this group by the governor's office. In terms of disclosure, the New York Times, the Post-Star, the Valley News, the Press Republican have done a halfway decent job. WAMC, which receives its donations from the same place that Brian Housefield's organization receives its donations, has not really breathed a word in this case. Nor has Adirondack Council, nor has the APA's website uttered one word about the most important legal case this agency's ever seen. Not a word. You're a public body. You're obliged to disclose the facts. At least one member of this board has some legal training, Mr. Ray of Debevoise Plimpton, whose partnership I know quite well back to Oscar Riebhausen. If Oscar Riebhausen was running this agency, it would be run correctly. Anonymous donations support the Adirondack Council, and the Adirondack Council is the minor league for the big league which sits around this table. I look for an APA which is respected and loved in this region. This room has any number of people who have suffered grievously as a result of the APA, and they don't love it. I would like to see them at least respected. But it's very hard to respect an agency which is run by an ex-Marine who doesn't believe in disclosure, whose resignation will be sought by the governor. Under Rockefeller, Wilson, Kerry, Cuomo, Pataki, Spitzer, Patterson, and again Cuomo, we've had a pretty consistent pattern, with one exception, Patterson. Strange. Black guy. Understands minorities. In order for this agency to succeed, and it's my fervent wish that it do so, and I came north because of this agency and established a farm here because of this agency, it's important to have the community at large behind this agency, not opposed to it, which it is today. You are hated by a significant portion of this community. And then there's those who are complicit. We got lucky. We found an honest judge. The honest judge rendered his verdict. And the most significant thing about his verdict was its disclosure at sblewis.com, the website. Every single document, with the exception of the last half dozen, and that's basically emails, is up on that website. So for those of you who can't find the information you're looking for about this case, at the APA's website, with McKeever and the rest of these guys in charge of disclosure and reporting to a chairman who's on his way out the door. At the end of the day, you can find it all at splewis.com. All of it. You don't have to hide. It's there. Now, I specialize in disclosure. Here's a record. I've issued 30,000 emails to large groups of people at the New York Times reporters. Trust me, they're fascinated with this place. You may get some attention here. State police come to our farm and laugh about this place. I'm not kidding, it's a joke. It's time to get the cult aspect out of this thing and turn this into the People's Agency. It can be done under non-paranoid management. The children of this region are paying the price. Not Van Cott's children, but everybody else's children. And they're leaving. If they have the ability, they're gone. As soon as they get out of a decent school, it's out of here. There's nothing to do here. We would like to change that. Let's talk about farming very quickly. There's real farmers and then there's phony farmers.
We're now exceeding 5 minutes.
I'm just sensationally impressed. At the end of the day, farms that are real are well capitalized, they're clean as a whistle, and they don't pollute. There are two kinds of farms up here, those that do and those that don't pollute. Ours doesn't and never has. But most do. The phony ones don't because they're not in farming. It's exceedingly important to have farming in this region. There are 60,000 acres on clay in this region, and with proper financing, we could take that 60,000 acres and turn the whole thing into a farming mecca in the North Country. That could be done, and it could be done now.
Mr. Lewis, I asked you to adhere to the 5-minute rule.
Yeah, I heard you, Mr. Stiles. At the end of the day, I was asked to come here by the governor's office.
You were not asked to come here by this agency, and this
Mr. Stiles,
is a public meeting.
Mr. Stiles, I want to thank you for your hospitality. It's a delight to appear before you.
Thank you for your comment.
I can assure you that everybody feels exactly as I do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, I'm just wondering, you were invited today by Governor Cuomo's office to
No,
speak.
I wasn't invited. I invited myself. I invited myself. We talked about it. They were thrilled that I was coming, and I was pleased to come.
Okay, so it's the understanding that the Cuomo administration knew you were coming to speak.
No question about that.
Okay.
The Cuomo administration, in the person of Thomas C.C. Congdon, who has ultimate authority over this agency for Cuomo's office, as well as APA, DEC, Ag and Markets, DEC. He does energy and environment. He's senior in that administration. I don't know what his role is. I do have his title. It's on my computer. I don't have it with me.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to say that you weren't able to say during the meeting?
Well, that's a longer story. The answer is yes. And it was discussed. And most of my thoughts, if you will, remarks, were things that I had previously discussed with Senator Little, who chose not to come. She doesn't want to come here. She doesn't like this place. And neither does Betty, neither does Teresa Sayward. These are people who just did not wish to come. They said they would come, and in the last analysis they declined to come.
You said you had some names, some suggestions. Did you want to reveal those suggestions for new APA commissioners today?
Well, when I was asked initially for 5 names, what I said is I have no clue who's suitable for this or who would want it, who might be acceptable. There's 3 criteria. There's suitability, there's the ability to do it, and the desire to do it. There's one man who has the ability, I'm sure he's suitable, and he has the desire, and that's Roby Politi. So I've suggested him. When you reach out for people who might wish to do it, and I haven't done that, the first thing you can think of is, are they suitable? There's a charter here. There's laws here. Will they obey those laws? The man who would be best qualified in terms of his knowledge of the law, the man who would be best qualified in terms of his ability to represent the region and do it fairly and honestly and in accordance with law, is sitting in that room today, and his name is Howard Aubin, A-U-B-I-N. Howard Aubin has deeper knowledge of APA law than any council, including ours, and if I were to have discussed the detail of this disclosure business, I would have pointed out that the Attorney General's office, in the person of Julie Sheridan, combined with our counsel to try to suppress Judge Meyer's last 3 decisions at the appeals court in Albany. And if I'd had extra time, I would have mentioned the fact that when we went before the appeals court to fight the APA, which appealed Judge Meyer's decision, I put out a mass email labeling the appeals court judges, 5 of them by name, 5 ham sandwiches. That's prior to their ruling. And I was told that I would surely lose the case because I'd labeled 5 judges at the appellate division of the 3rd Judicial Department 5 ham sandwiches. In my view, they are ham sandwiches. You cannot review 2,300 cases in the course of a year, and that's the caseload they have. You can't read them. That would read at least a dozen a day. There's no human being on the planet who can read a dozen cases a day. Hence, they are 5 ham sandwiches. By labeling them 5 ham sandwiches, I got them to read my case, and they came out in our favor 5-0. 5-0 against this body and against the Attorney General, who then tried to suppress the decisions and tried to buy me for $72,000. It didn't work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet.